Hi, my name is Graciela.
Namir.
Joseph.
Hosea Kissy.
Tania Donato.
Anna Quinlan.
Omar Patel.
Swinson.
Streeter.
Jason.
Gabby Crooks.
Zafnan.
Jillian.
Elisa Savas.
Carolina.
Line Perez.
David Liho.
Greer Harris.
Emily.
And I'm
a
Stanford admit.
My GPA is at least for the time being, it's a 4.0 unweighted and a 4.8 weighted.
3.96 unweighted. Weighted was a 4.65.
4.6 GPA in high school.
basically a 3.9.
4.0 unweighted GPA and a 4.63 weighted GPA.
Unweighted is a 4.0, and then I have a 4.673 weighted.
4.64 out of 4 weighted.
3.97 unweighted.
3.98, and my weighted GPA was a 4.6.
4.0 unweighted and then 4.33 unweighted.
My unweighted GPA was a 3.98. Well, my weighted GPA was a 4.47.
A 3.93 unweighted.
My GPA is a 4.0.
I got a 35 on my ACT, and then I took the SAT too, and I got a 1500 overall.
So for the SAT, I got a 1480. For the ACT, I received a 35. And then for my Math 1 subject test, I got a 790.
For the SAT, I got a 1580. For SAT subject tests, I got an 800 on the Math 2 subject test and a 790 on the Physics subject test.
My SAT was 1580. Subject tests, 790 Math 2, 800 Physics.
SAT score, not so proud of. I got a 1350, and I automatically thought that would mean that I could never get into Stanford, but not the case. I did take the ACT, didn't like it. I got a 25 the first time, and took it again and got 26.
I took the SAT and I got a score of 1410, so I turned to the ACT and I got a score of 32.
I took the SAT twice, and the highest score that I got was a 1570. I got a 780 in Math 2, 800 in Physics, a 780 on Biology E, and a 780 on US History.
My SAT score is 1,580. I did 2 subject tests. In Math 2, I got 800, and in Physics, I got 780.
So for my ACT, I got a 34. My SAT was a 1530. And my SAT subject tests were 800s in both Math 2 and Physics.
SAT, I took the SAT twice. First time 1510, second time I got a 1550. And then I took the ACT and I got a 35 composite on that. SAT subject tests, I think I took Math 2, 800, Bio M, 800, Chem, 800, and then US History, 790.
And on the SAT, I got a 1510.
I took the SAT once and scored a 1470.
I took the ACT once at the beginning of my junior year, and I got a 35, and then I took the SAT once, and I got a 1520, and then I took 3 SAT subject tests, a 790 on Math 2, a 760 on US History, and a 740 on Chemistry.
My SAT was 1460. So for Math 2, I got 770. I think I got 740 for my US History exam. And then I got a 550 for my Literature exam.
ACT, I'm actually with the lower range scores for ACTs, and it's a 33.
SAT, I scored a 1370, and ACT 32. Subject test, I took Bio and Spanish. Got a 670 on Bio E, and a 790 on Spanish.
And I got a 1500 and a 35 as my highest. I've also taken the molecular biology SAT subject test, and I got a 720 on that one.
I submitted a 33 in the ACT. I took 2 SAT subject tests, one chemistry where I got an 800, and maths 1 where I got a 750.
Theater and speech. So speech is kind of like competitive acting, and theater is like just acting, so I think you can kind of sense the common trend here, which is that I like acting. I'm not great at it, but I do really enjoy it. My kind of leadership roles in that involve novice director for the speech team, which basically means I teach new members like how to do the activity, because it is like competitive, and I'm directing one of the school's musicals this year.
Community service, again, I was president of my school's like community service club. I'm on like my school like advisory committee where I'm like with like parents and admin to kind of talk about like the policies for our school and like some of the funding stuff. I mean like NHS, I feel like everyone is.
When I was in high school, I did a lot of research, which basically involved building things that involved diabetes. And then I was also involved in the American Indian Science and Engineering Society. In terms of my research, I kind of, towards the end of high school, kind of became a mentor for other students. I helped start a science fair at my school.
I compete on math, science, and most notably, literary criticism. I am the co-captain of our high school band's color guard, and I've been for 3 years. In the summer of 2017, I marched with the Guardians Drum and Bugle Corps, performing and touring all over the country. I am a lead attorney in teen court. I do peer tutoring, I am in BPA, and I participate in the public speaking event. And my main hobby is that I like to write, mainly poetry.
I was the president of Science NHS, and it was started 2 years ago, so it's a pretty new thing at my school. My most important extracurricular, I would say, was my work with the I Have a Dream Foundation, where I essentially work with middle school students, middle school at-risk students after school, and I help tutor them, and I helped them start some STEM activities because they didn't have any of that as a part of the curriculum, so I worked with them to integrate that. I also am the president of Interact Club, which is a branch of Rotary International. I do a bunch of various volunteering, a lot of it with kids and a lot of it related to education because that's just what I'm really interested in.
I run track, and I was a captain my junior year, and I've been varsity for like all 4 years, I guess. And I'm also a student council member, and I was president my sophomore year, but didn't get it my junior year, so yikes.
I founded my own science outreach program in my city. So what we would do is we would go to local elementary schools and we would teach kids different science concepts through innovative science challenges and projects where they would use ordinary household materials to build these incredible structures and gadgets and contraptions.
In high school, I did MLN for a while. I did debate for a long time, and I got very involved into programming. So I initiated the programming club at our school, and I became the teacher. So I teach young kids about programming and the programming concepts. And outside school, I do some websites, and I also wrote a book on programming algorithms.
So I did speech and debate for 3 years. I did debate for 2 years. I did speech for 3 years. And then I got a research internship at Stanford, working in a neurosurgery lab. So I decreased my commitment to speech and debate, and then I eventually just quit my senior year so that I could just focus my time on that.
So the main activity I did in high school was a research internship at my local university. I started in my junior year. It was a computational physics research internship, and it was a really amazing experience. I actually got to take my research to an international science fair. Another thing that I do a lot is competitive art, so anything from local to national level contests that I enter. And then I also did a lot of art exhibitions, so a lot of my pieces are in banks and libraries, and I even have a piece in the Memphis International Airport.
So I started 2 clubs at my school, one focusing on educating students about the legal system, especially for certain issues such as immigration and police brutality. And the other is a current initiative within my county that focuses on closing the achievement gap, especially for underrepresented minorities. During my sophomore year, I participated in a 6-month program called the Student Emerging Leaders Program, and they work to solve an issue within their respective communities. For me, it was stop and frisk in the Black community. I'm also the vice president of service for my school's chapter of National Honor Society, and I've been volunteering at my church's Sunday school for 6 years, and I volunteer at an arts camp every summer.
I interned for a local campaign, and I was a part of the University of Michigan's Social Justice Fellowship. I did some volunteering and some sports, but I'm the president of the political science club at my school, and I'm part of the executive committee for a teen philanthropic group. Not much aside from that.
I was a student researcher through Pioneer Academics. I was also the founder of Humanities Club, co-founder of Latino Student Union, and I was also part of Art Club all 4 years of my high school. I was vice president for my senior year within Art Club. I can't forget soccer because it's been such a integral role in my life, and I played it since my childhood. And of course, I did play it freshman and junior year.
I did research in this wastewater reuse lab at USC, and we're looking at how meth that's in wastewater transforms as it's treated with chlorine and ozone and other products to form carcinogens. I also started a nonprofit, which is, I know, the biggest cliche ever, but it's fine. With the nonprofit, what I do is I photograph pets at shelters that don't have the resources to get good photos. I have a pet pig and pet dogs and pet chickens and pet cats and everything. I adopted all of these animals, and it kind of came to the point where I had so many animals I couldn't adopt anymore, so I still wanted to help them, but I couldn't really adopt them personally, so I just started going to shelters and photographing for them because I'm also a photographer. And then other than that, I run track and cross country. I started 2 clubs at my high school, which were the Amnesty International Club and Women in STEM Club. I'm a freshman mentor, a school ambassador. I tutor at-risk youth learning English as a second language at this community center.
I have 2 very meaningful activities to me. One of them is mock trial, and I got an award junior year for being a good witness. And the other activity was Ballet Folklorico, which is basically Mexican traditional dancing. I did it for 4 years. I was club president my junior year.
So I'm the president of Interact, which is a community service club. I was president of the museum project, but they only let you be president for 1 year. So I did it my junior year. I founded a spirit group. I founded a competition where kids in the county submitted artworks, and then we had people judge them, and monetary scholarships were given out. Student council vice president of FBLA, many different board positions and stuff.
So I'm a student athletic trainer, so I train football and women's basketball, so those are 2 sports that I'm really big on watching, football and basketball, so you'll definitely catch me at those events. But I like to volunteer for other sporting events at my school, so any other sport in general I do like watching. I'm also in HOSA, so it's for health science students. I compete in that. And I'm an officer for my school's chapter. I'm also in student council, and I serve as the senior class president and the community service chairperson.
In terms of my activities, my most important 4 would probably be the publishing and writing of my book, Beaches of Sussex, which is sort of guidebook to the local beaches in my county, which I followed up with the creation of an e-commerce website, www.beachesofsussex.co.uk, where I sell my book and my postcards. Hit it up if you want. And I go into local schools and I engage students with important marine conservation issues to encourage them to protect their environment. I also started a social initiative called www.10minutes10questions. You can hit it up again, which is a website that asks successful individuals the reasons behind their success. So it's a sort of collection of interviews basically, and all with the aim of inspiring the next generation of leaders. And then finally, I designed, developed and filed a patent for my invention, which prevents overfluoridation in children because that causes neurological impairment in children. So basically it's just a modified screw top to toothpaste to just control the amount of toothpaste that comes out.